Hey, welcome to this week's crew briefing. The weather over here on the East Coast where I am is finally nice, and you know what that means? That means that summer flying is officially underway. Whether you're applying, interviewing, or flying full time, I've got some tips, tools, and resources to help you stay grounded. Let's start with who's hiring flight attendants this week. There are new listings up on the job board, so if you're looking to earn your wings, this is the time to look for some new job openings. If you go to the description of this video, I have a link to the Future Flight Attendant job board. Now that is for US applicants. So if you have to be legal to work in the US, so all those jobs are listed, who's hiring. It's updated daily, as is our cabin crew careers page. And the cabin crew's careers page, that's a mouthful. That page is for the UK and Europe applicants. So if you're legal to work there, you go to the cabin crew careers page and that will also be linked below. You know, new opportunities are added every single day. So, well, as long as something changes and somebody's hiring, but we do check that job board every single day. So be sure and bookmark it and check it regularly. And also, if you get on our mailing list, which you can do so at the bottom, I send out hiring updates as soon as any major changes happen. Like, let's say one of the airlines like Delta is going to be opening, or United opens, or anyone else that hasn't been open in a little while, I will send an email right away so that you can be one of the first to know who is hiring and head on over to the job board. I don't do that with the UK and Europe, so you do have to check those every day, but those don't actually change as much. The US is where the hiring opens and closes constantly. So this month, the month of June, we have a theme. Every month we have a theme, and the June theme is calm in the clouds or the summer of self-care. Because let's face it, summer flying is super exciting. You get so many new destinations you might not have been able to go to before, but it can be super intense. There's meltdowns, flights are full, airports are packed. Customers can be acting up. Reserves are flying nonstop. I mean, reserves can end up being used and abused. And it's essential to take care of yourself, especially if you're in the middle of the hiring process or just starting your career. You know, you don't want to get sick, you don't want to get overtired. You want to show up as the best version of yourself. So I'm really big on journal prompts. So for our programs, and I've been posting them also on Instagram, different journal prompts for you to do so that you know, it's really hard because you're out there, you're tired, you're exhausted. A customer might ask for something and you could be snappy just because of all the other stuff, and it has nothing to do with that customer. And our customers, those are the ones that pay our paychecks. So we want to be nice to them. So, you know, what can you do? Here's a good journal prompt for you. What can I do when I'm feeling stressed mid-flight? You know, what could you do? Think of it, write some things down. You know, how can you ground and get back to center and not lose it? I mean, you don't want to be in the lavatory crying or out in the aisle having a fit, you know. I understand most people don't lose their patience, but sometimes, you know, summer can be wild. So, journal prompts to me, I journal everything because you can have something in your mind and it's so hard to figure out and you don't know what to do. But you know what? As soon as you start writing things down on paper, everything becomes crystal clear. So you can write all your plans, your dreams, your goals. Journaling is excellent for self care. It's one of my absolute favorite things. I should do it even more. I try to journal every few days, but I mean, if you just did one journal prompt a day, just think of how much growth you would have as a person and a professional, a customer service professional. This week's tip is to get outside. You're going to prioritize some self-care, but getting out in nature. Let me tell you, I can say that weeks could go by where, well, maybe not weeks, but days at least could go by where I wouldn't even go outside. You know, you basically come into the airport and then you go on your aircraft and then you're staying inside the airport and in the plane all day, breathing all that recycled air. And then if you have a layover, you might walk out to the van, you're in the van, you go into the hotel, you sleep, you wake up, and it all starts over again. And this could go on for days. You know, you might not have some nice long layovers, but just go out in nature. Take a walk, look at the trees, look at even a squirrel. I mean, seriously, a squirrel is just, they're cute. You can watch them running around. Just take a breath. Enjoy the outside. That is self-care. Just ground yourself and breathe, get out of that recycled air. I'm going to be honest, in the beginning of my career, and most of my career really, I had such a hard time prioritizing self-care because you grind and you're like wanting to make money. So I would be picking up high time trips and, doing turns and exhausted, just come home, sleep, go do it again. And that is not caring for yourself. You're going to break down, you're going to get sick, you're going to get hurt. So it's never too late to start self care. So please be proactive now. Had I done that, things would be a lot different now. I've had a lot of injuries and things like that. That wouldn't have happened if I would have put a little more prioritization on my self care. So do it now. Just prioritize your self care. Your future self will thank you. If you're prepping for those interviews, I have a interview masterclass bundle which has so many goodies in it. There's worksheets to teach you how to answer the questions, everything, what to expect, interview tips, interview outfit tips, everything you need to get hired. I even have a resume template in there with exact keywords. You can just plug and play and turn them into your own experience. But this is just like it's the same prep I give my course and coaching program students, except they get me personal. So this is without the coaching price. You don't get me personally either, but you do have all the tools. I'm going to link that below. It's an awesome program. Be sure and subscribe if you like this kind of content and you want support in your flight attendant journey. And if you know someone else who's working toward their flight attendant career, send them this video. See you next week. I'll be back with another crew briefing.